intro of my career.
Hey, oh,
That's not doing it.
that was a good intro.
Okay. I understand we're good now. So welcome to Sweet 301. I'm Sandy Sanderson. Coming to you live from our Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania home offices. Hope you're getting ready for a great holiday season. We're here to give you all the updates and information about all our Cold Club sports leagues. You can always watch these recorded episodes on our Sweet 301 page and Facebook and our YouTube page.
Good recap.
Yeah. And this is Christian Smith. He's going to redo his intro, too.
Yeah, remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for all the latest news and updates. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch videos from all of our leagues and to watch previous episodes of Sweet 301.
And in case you missed it, I had a great ho-ho-ho intro line. It was
Flawless.
Tis the season. All right, Christian, let's dive right in. I mean, December. We're in the heart thick of football. NFL's in like the playoff hunt. College football bowls are underway. Everyone's looking to those CFP playoff games coming up here in New Year's Eve.
Yep.
But we had our football championship in the month of December as well. So let's dive right into a little bit of the NCFA update of what's going on. Right before the national championship, we released the All-Americans. You can see those on the screen there, both a first and second team All-Americans. You can see, I'm not going to read through them. They're available on our website. If you go to the NCFA clubfootball.org website, there's an All-American page where you can go back and see past All-Americans and so forth. But this is our new crop of award winners. Congratulations to all of them on their achievements on the field. And we'll dive into not just the All-Americans, but we released the individual award winners. Our Offensive Player of the Year, Kellen Gerenstein from Ohio State, the quarterback. Defensive Player of the Year, Gordon State, Antoine Johnson, the defensive back. No surprise there that the offensive and defensive players came from players that were in the national title game, right? Coach of the Year goes to Jonathan Beach at Michigan State, a program that's been solid for years and really made a strong run. And I've told some people, since the season ended, I think they are with the Kellen Gerenstein moving on from Ohio State as a graduate. I think Michigan State's going to step up and have a pretty strong run here over the next few years underneath Jonathan Beach's tutelage. Assistant of the Year, co-defensive coordinators Tim Shelley and Rod Brown from Gordon State. Freshman of the Year went to Cedron Brundage, Gordon State. We'll also talk about him winning the MVP of the national title game as well. And President of the Year went to Basil Hassan from George Mason. So congratulations on those individuals on their achievements, both some of them on the field, some of them in the coaching sidelines, and some off the field in President of the Year in these student-run organizations. Congratulations.
Congrats.
All right, so let's get into that national championship game a little bit. What do you say, Christian?
Sounds good to me. It was an excellent game. I was there.
You were there. You were manning the front gate solo. Did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
He was scheduled to have a crew with him, but due to the extenuating circumstances of our chain gang not showing up, we had to steal staff members and throw them out on the field to get that job done.
Nobody would have known, though. Nobody would have known.
No, we took it in stride. But, hey, a great game we had. Gordon State came on top 35, Ohio State's 15, derailed their chance at a three-peat at the national title. Some people look at that score and say, that's a little lopsided. Ohio State was winning 7-6 at the half. I mean, it was a biblical game of defense, turnovers, just people not wanting to let the other put the ball in the end zone. So it was exciting. I mean, honestly, from an entertainment value standpoint, especially that first half, people drive 80 yards and big pickoff or big fumble, and it was enjoyable. And then, Gordon State came out strong in the second half, in my opinion. I think they were just a little deeper off the bench and were able to wear Ohio State down and really sort of take command late into the second half there. And MVP of the game, did we have some stats up on that slide? I didn't notice. Cedrion Brundage rushed for 16 carries for 209 yards and 3 TDs. That's going to earn you MVP status, 7 days a week, I think. But great job by him, especially a lot of those big carries you came in the second half.
I know
Absolutely.
before, the staff was talking at they came to the front gate, some of them, and they were talking about after the first half how it's going to be difficult the way the game's going to pick an MVP. But after Cedrion, in the second half, it was obviously an easy decision.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be joined by a guest caller, Kevin Adkins, head coach of the national champion Gordon State Highlanders. There he is, Kevin. Coach Kevin, how we doing today?
Hey, doing well. Glad y'all having me. Excited to be on here.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you and the Highlanders for the national title game. We were just telling the listeners here about what an exciting game it was. Throw the scoreboard out the window. The 7-6, that first half, 7-6, low scoring, turnover affair. It wasn't a lack of offense. It was, I think both defenses stepped up in crucial times to just take the ball back and march the other way. What were your thoughts on the first half, and what did you tell your team at halftime to get them to come out with a little different mindset and different attitude to take over the second half?
Hey, we just had to make some adjustments at halftime, so I just told them to be patient. I know we made a lot of mistakes in the first half, especially with the fumbles and the interceptions. So I just told them to be patient. We had the better team, and we had a lot of depth. So the biggest thing was being patient and take what they give us. We played a really, really tough team. They was high-powered offense. The main thing was keep them from scoring and then ultimately get our offense going at the end of the day.
So when you got back to campus, was there any sort of fanfare? Did they meet you? You guys flew up for the game. I know that. Was there a little bit of a celebration party when you got back to town? What was the reception like getting back to campus?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Actually, we celebrated that night. We was able to since we flew in, we was able to stay that night. And, once we got back, we ultimately had a parade, and I think the watch party went well. I think a lot of excitement around campus, and it's definitely a really, really nice environment to be in. We surprised we threw a parade and had a phenomenal time. And, the guys embraced it. Definitely think it's a major experience for our guys to definitely make that accomplishment.
From my perspective, I thought one of the changes, there were two changes in the second half. One, your running back went off. But the other thing was it seemed like you were able to wear down Ohio State a little bit. I think you guys may have had a little more depth. What are your thoughts on the depth that your team has in terms of being able to keep fresh legs on the field late in the games?
Well, we're a well-conditioned team, so but definitely we wanted, we set out to, have some depth so we can get into those type of positions where we get late in the game and, and have some explosive plays. So I think we did a really, really good job of, containing Kellen Gerenstein defensively. I think, that was the thing. We had a really good secondary, so we knew we was going to take one aspect of their game away, which was taking the passing game away. But we really, really struggled with the run, containing Kellen Gerenstein. But that was our main focus. As long as we limit the big plays, and we knew eventually our depth would prevail. And we was able to wear them down. Our offensive line was leaning on those guys. So when we got to the point where we felt like they was a little winded, and we kind of hit a couple plays that we thought we had open in the first half. Just didn't have an opportunity to execute because we got behind the sticks early a lot because of outside penalties or just bad mental penalties. So once we cleared that up, I think we was good to go.
Now, Coach, if you don't mind, Cedrion Brundage, freshman, just won, your Freshman of the Year award, MVP of the national title game. Give us a little background on him. He's new to the NCFA scene. We didn't know much about him except what we saw that Saturday on December 3rd. Give us a little backstory about how he ended up coming to your program.
So he was actually was about to be a walk-on at UGA. a preferred walk-on. So we was able to, by grace, we knew a coach that knew his head coach, and start communicating with him, let him visit the campus, and told him about our program, and told him how high he was for us, and ultimately, we told him we was coming off a South Atlantic championship with goal to win the national championship. Told him he would be a vital piece. And at the time, we didn't know to the extent who's our starting running back was going to be, because we had a plethora of running backs that could really play, as you've seen during the game. But he wound up getting better and better each and every week. Hard worker, really strong in the weight room as well. Got better. He was kind of banked up in the beginning of the year, so didn't hear a lot from him for us making player of the week. But the time mid-season towards the late, he wound up getting healthy, and we wound up getting player of the week pretty much every week towards the end of the season. And he was vital for us. Really good speed, really strong, really good vision. And ultimately, he was the answer to the second half for us, and the pivotal part to getting the big wins.
Quite a performance out of him that Saturday. Talk to us about, you said you achieved the goal last year of winning the conference title. Repeated that this year. You had a goal of now going and winning the national title. What are your goals for 2023 moving forward?
Well, ultimately, we want to establish and get the guys stronger, bigger and faster. So, having a good off season going to be pivotal for us. And, that starts number one, and getting some valuable pieces to replace some guys that we're losing is going to be piece number two for us all season. So, ultimately, our goal is, number one, we want to win the South Atlantic championship again, and ultimately put ourselves in a position to win another national title. We think that off season and marrying the parts with some newer guys, get them up to speed, is going to be critical. And then ultimately, we want to beat Georgia Military College, which is one of the top colleges in the nation. And we think we don't create a rivalry there. And ultimately, we want to build a team that can compete with them as well. And ultimately, like I said, our ultimate goal is to win the national championship.
And Coach, I know this is Christian Smith. I was out at the front gate, and I know the Dean of Students from Gordon State made the trip up, and he was tickled about how Gordon State has never been in the same sentence with the word national championship. So he was just thrilled that you guys were able to pull off winning the national championship. Where is I get just curious, where is the national championship trophy being stored? Is it at Players House? Is it at the school? Where is it at? Currently, I guess.
It's in the dining hall, like in the cafeteria.
You eating out of it?
You got students, you got admin, you got staff. So as they go into the cafeteria, all of them taking pictures with it, because they are part of it as well. So they are taking pictures with it, and all on social media with it. So it's in the heart of the cafeteria, which all the students had to go to at some point in time during the week or during the last couple of weeks. And so they see that big trophy, and it's a really nice accomplishment. I think it's in a great place before we put it in the trophy case. But right now, we got it stored in the heart of the cafeteria, right in the middle of the cafeteria.
Good conversation starter.
Absolutely.
Nice. Congratulations again.
Yes. Let's talk about 23 one more second before we let you go. How are the Highlanders looking for next year? I mean, are you? I think you were a pretty young team, so not too many seniors. What are you losing? Who do you think is going to be able to step up?
Well, we'll lose some guys at a defensive position. We had a really tenured secondary that was really good, but we feel like we'll bring in another good recruiting class. So we actually feel like we'll have ultimately, which is hard to say, but I feel like we got a better team coming up based off what I've seen so far from the recruiting coordinators. And as long as we get those pieces in, they kind of marry the pieces that we're going to be missing. We feel like we're going to upgrade at some positions. So we'll probably lose Neil Howard at quarterback, but we have a great backup in Nikel Pullen that stepped in this year and played some significant time for us when Neil was banged up. And it'll be his time to shine. And we'll return the same running back crew. So Brunswick, he'll be back. along with Richardson, and offensive line while we were young. So we'll return those back with some key people in the secondary. But we feel like we got some pieces that can come in and hold tight, and we think we'll be even better like next year.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, we appreciate your time. Congratulations to you and your staff, your players, the whole campus, everybody that goes to the dining hall. Congratulations on that national championship. Love to hear. That's the first story that we've heard of any of our national championship trophies getting put in the dining hall. But I love it. Everyone's got to go through there, so everyone gets their 15 seconds of fame on social media, getting pictures with it. That's a great idea. Love it. Happy holidays to you and your entire team, staff, family. We wish you well, and we'll see you in 2023.
Hey, thank you, and thank you for having me, and love the NCFA, and love what you guys are doing, and look forward to next year.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. All right, good stuff. Last little item of NCFA, we got some housekeeping items to discuss. I know Dave Mogensen is reaching out to teams to get updated contact information for next year's officers, to get LPAs signed so that we can get the ball rolling in January with a league meeting, talk about any rule changes moving forward, any adjustments to the format. But also, with finals just wrapping up, Dave will be reaching out for nominations to the academic All-American team that gets announced in mid to late January. Once schedules are grades are released, teams can nominate their players who did well in the classroom this past fall semester. Make sure you get that over to Dave in a timely fashion so that All-American team can get awarded and announced in January. That's it for NCFA. Appreciate it. On to a new season. All right. So, Christian, what's next? What do you want to talk about next?
Maybe some basketball.
Basketball. You're the VP of basketball ops, aren't you?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Last time I checked your
look at my business card. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the case.
So talk to us about basketball. What are we touching on?
We got Matt Hazy, director of men's basketball operations, on set with us, and
Matthew Hazy, IPA.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And he is, and he's actually going to take us through NCBBA men's basketball. Matt, top 20 rankings just came out, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Why don't you take us through those?
Yeah, so as you see there on the screen, Virginia Tech remains as number 1, second week in a row. We have the Happy Valley winners in UConn at the 2 spot still. Brown taking one of the biggest leaps up from 12 in week 4 to tied for 3 there.
What do you attribute that for?
Well, they're 7-0. They have a great start right now, tied for 3rd with Georgetown, and they're not going unnoticed by the voting panel.
Apparently not. Did they have a signature win in that pile of seven wins?
I don't know. They were all conference games.
Okay.
So I believe Northeastern's in that conference. Bryant, some pretty well-known teams. So, but yeah, biggest jump there, tied with Georgetown for 3rd, and then Salisbury rounding out the 5 spot.
Yeah. Some, just going from last year, Purdue's national champion, you tend to see, have they played any games yet?
Yeah, they've played a couple. They were out the USC tournament week 2.
Okay.
So they got some games in there, but a lot of their schedule still remains ahead of them.
I remember they had a slow fall last year, so I know that plays a factor in determining, what the voters, or how they select their top 20 is, seeing what you've actually done on the court. So, quite a bit of shake-up there. It's interesting to see where teams land. So, when's the next one coming out? Do you know?
It'll be January 19th, week 12.
Okay, so be sure to check that out when that comes out. January 12th, you said?
19th.
On 19th?
Yep.
On social media. Let's talk about we're going over some games that were played. Let's talk about some season updates thus far in the NCBBA.
Absolutely. So there's still a lot of unbeaten teams out there. A lot of teams still have a lot of games still left to play. There's 2 conferences who are spring only, the Pacific North and the South Atlantic South. So teams still have to get some games in there. So I'm still looking for a lot of shakeups, a lot of potential upsets in conferences and things like that.
All right. Any housekeeping items that teams should be looking out for over the holidays?
Yeah, so if you played any games in the fall, as you know, you do need to send in a spring academic eligibility form. just so we know that your players are still eligible for the spring semester. And also, if you still have yet to pay your dues and performance bonds, please get those paid. If you have questions about if you've paid or not, please reach out to me. I'll be able to help out everybody there.
Yeah, take advantage of that early payment discount. Expires December 31st. Save yourself $100. Get it in. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, Forrest. Matt, anything new? I know it's kind of shutdown mode. Schools are away from, campus, so it's a little more quiet this time of year. But anything else that teams need to be aware of, or any new updates?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Matt. Let's move on to, we got Alec Verhoff to talk women's basketball. There he is. Festive as can be.
Look at his attire.
What kind of sweater is that? What's Cleveland? Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. Well, Alec, thank you for joining us. We just talked with Matt about the top 15, the top 20 on the men's side. Why don't you take us through the top 15 on the women's side?
Yeah, absolutely. As you see there, for the, I believe, second week in a row, maybe third week or third poll in a row, Ohio State is on top. They were unanimous in the past, so they received 7 of the 9 first place votes this time, so they did lose a couple of those. UMass picked things up. They received 2, which was a little shocking, just that people went away from Ohio State, but I think good for UMass. They've had a great ball, they're undefeated, tied for second there with and then we've got Boston College, our reigning champs, coming up 4. I believe they lost a non-conference game, which I think they ended up a little bit. And then Sacred Heart at 5, they are undefeated. I believe 6-0 is their record. Had a great night as well. And then you can see the rest of the top 15 there. Read that off carefully. But yeah, it was a great fall season so far. A lot of good basketball. It's great.
When's the next top 15 going to be released?
That will be January 26th.
Okay. All right. What the fall season's come to a close. We'll be jumping into the spring season. Any news, updates, anything to be looking out for, when it comes to housekeeping items for women's basketball?
Pretty much same thing as men's. The early discount period for dues that ends here in 11 days, I believe. So we have less than 2 weeks. Save yourself $100. Get that as soon as possible. After that, you have February. Academic letters, I would probably start looking about that stuff. Miss.
All right, Alec. Appreciate your time with us. Happy holidays to you. And we will talk to you next month.
Yeah, you'll actually talk to me here in a little bit for spring training stuff.
All right. Sounds good. Good to see you
far away.
I like it. All right. Thanks, Alec.
All right. Well, hey, that wraps up the basketball segment, I believe, right?
Yeah, pretty quiet over there on the basketball side of things.
Yeah, we're kind of in that middle off-season kind of.
Yep.
We're in an intermission.
Yes.
Basketball intermission.
Yes.
The first act is behind us. Act 2 is coming.
Is upon us.
All right. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back in about 45 seconds.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the proud uniform, equipment, and ball sponsor of the National Club Baseball and Softball Associations. Teams receive up to 45% off on all their orders. For more information, including catalogs and price quotes, contact our front office today.
All right.
Hello. Welcome back. Suite 301. We're going to get into some softball, club softball talk. A lot of things going on in the NCSA. First and foremost, we're going to get talking about the December top 20 that came out beginning of this month, Virginia Tech, just like on the basketball side of things, the number one team, the reigning champions, getting 8 first place votes in that poll, in this December poll, but some first place votes going to Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Sacred Heart Red as well. We're going to actually talk to the head coach of Sacred Heart Red, Ray Mencio, here shortly to talk about their program. But December top 20 was released earlier this month. We will not have, just because of no games really taking place in the month of December, we won't have a January top 20, but we will have first week of February. We'll have the February Rawlings top 20 coming out. But you can check out the December top 20 on the NCSA website in the headlines section and on social media. So make sure to check that out to see where your team lands. And piggybacking off, Ray and Sacred Heart Red earning some first place votes, ending up number 4 in the country. Let's get Ray Mencio on, the head coach of Sacred Heart Red, to the show. There he is.
Hey,
Ray, what's
how are you doing today?
doing well, Ray? Welcome to Suite 301. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Now, Ray, Sacred Heart Red, having a pretty good season, 12-0 in conference and 23 overall. You won the first state showdown fall tournament, so obviously off to a very good start. I know we talked about this in some email exchanges about you clinching already the North Atlantic North in the fall. I guess my biggest question for you is, how do you keep your team motivated heading into the spring season, already knowing that you clinched the conference championship, you're already made regionals? How do you keep them motivated?
I think that they all know they want to go back to the World Series well and free. Everyone still a lot of work done, so it's just kind of putting their head down and keep working. So they're kind of itching up to start up again as soon as we can.
I'm sure they are. Now, last year you had a great year as well. You made it 2 regionals. No, you didn't. You came up a bit short. I think you lost to Penn State in a semifinal game out there. But what is the difference between this year's team and next year's team? What is going to get you guys and the ladies over the hump back down to Columbus, Georgia in 2023?
Honestly, I think it's the whole exposure. Being able to go to the World Series a couple of years ago, then going to regionals last year and losing. There's that motivation to not want to have to get back to Georgia and that kind of everything that entails going down there.
Now, tell us about some key players that other teams should be looking out for, not only for the conclusion of your spring's conference season, but heading into regionals. Who are the key offensive and defensive players for the Pioneers?
We're pretty lucky that we have a lot of really good players. Haley King is in graduate school now. She's been, I think, 3-time All-American. Pat McNamara was been picked for the week different times. Really good. We have a freshman from New York, Liv Salvetti, did a walk-off home run in the first state showdown in Delaware. So, and then we got everyone else who's kind of so we're pretty fortunate to have all the talent we do.
Now, you mentioned the first state showdown, and that was your opening games of the year, I believe. What does that fall tournament provide your team? What are the pros of? Because I know you played some pretty good talent. I think you beat was it Delaware in the championship game. You saw some good teams out there. What does that do for your program, getting in competitive games that early in the season?
Yeah, it's setting the bar. Delaware is a really, really good, strong program every year. So it's seeing them getting to play against different teams, and then it's also the team bonding aspect. You're staying overnight, everyone who's still getting each other. There's a lot of bonding that goes on.
Awesome. Well, Ray, we appreciate you coming on with us. Happy holidays to you. I'm really excited to see what Sacred Heart Red has in store for us this spring. Hopefully, and also seeing you down in Columbus, Georgia at middle of May.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for all the work you do. Happy holidays and stay safe.
All right, Ray.
Happy holidays, Ray.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ray Mencio.
Yes.
He's like a legend.
He is.
We've been working with him for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Today was the first day I found out that he coaches the softball team.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I'm just in awe. I know he's puppet mastering all the club sports up at Sacred Heart, and they've got a lot of them, and they're good, and their football team's phenomenal, and he's been to a lot of our events. I had no idea he coached softball.
Yeah, he was. I didn't know that either until the beginning of the year, and we were working on some scheduling things, and he was one of the big proponents of getting a heavy fall schedule. Just because the spring is obviously very short up in the Northeast, and with the communication back and forth, I could see he was heavily involved with the team. And then yes, with him going to the first state showdown, I knew that I too found out that he is the head coach of the red team for Sacred Heart. That just clinched a spot. Well, they clinched a spot a few weeks ago. But yeah, they're a really good team. Obviously, 12-0, 23-0 overall. So got a ton of games in just this fall, and obviously with the spring and closing up the majority of their conference schedule, I think they have one more conference series left. They'll probably have a lot of non-conference games being scheduled in the spring. So looking forward to see how they do at regionals, and hopefully we'll see Ray and the Pioneers down in Columbus, Georgia, come World Series time. So hats off to them. Congratulations to Sacred Heart and to Ray.
All right, good stuff. All right, I think that wraps up our softball segment. Well, a little bit. We're going to transition into spring training, swing into spring, and give you an update on that. So where do we start with? Number of teams, I guess, right?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, Swing in the Spring. Registration is closed for Swing in the Spring PCB. That's our East Coast version, Panama City Beach. We have 55 baseball teams officially signed on, including 30 in week 3 of spring break. I don't have those exact dates off the top of my head, but week 3, 30 teams. We had to shut it down. That's the max we could take, and we're working on that schedule right now, and it's bonkers, just trying to fit all these games and practices in on across. Even though we got 5 fields, we never, when we were in Plant City, Florida, we didn't have that many fields, but it's really shaping up nice. We're starting to dive into week 2 scheduling now as well. I hope to have that finalized and announced all the teams, right after the first of the year. Now on the softball side, we've got 8 of teams officially signed on, and during a meeting today, I was told we're waiting on paperwork for 3 more. Registration for the softball Swing in the Spring East PCB is still open till January 1st. So there's some more teams that claim that they're going to get their stuff in by the end of this week, so that they can get included in that schedule when it's released. So if you're a softball team interested in Swing in the Spring, Lacey Lautner's your contact there. Be sure to reach out to her. There we go. Other items on Swing in the Spring. Lodging. Let's talk about some lodging options, because now we've got all these teams coming, especially week 3 with 30 teams coming to town. These are our lodging partners that we have. Everything ranging from dormitory style bunk beds with 11, 12 people in a room to high-end condominium, vacation style condominiums. We've got and everything in between. We've got price points for every budget. We've got amenities for every lifestyle that you want to approach in your stay to PCB. If you're a week 3 team, do not hesitate to book. Or the longer you wait, the more likely you are to not get the place you want, because they're going to sell out. So as you see, the Radisson there, week 3 only, we had to add an additional hotel option just for that week due to the number of teams attending that week too. And that's where the bulk of the softball teams are coming down, is week 3 too. So not just those 30 baseball teams, we're going to end up with 8 to 10 softball teams staying down there that week too. So that week 3 is going to be a wild and woolly environment. Can't wait to get down there. It's going to be great. But let's, I think that's it. Anything else I should bring up? Any other questions on your end about Swing in the Spring PCB?
No, it sounds like it's starting to take shape and really getting down to the nitty gritty. And I just know I haven't gone to Panama City Beach, but just the spring training experience is second to none. And I know the teams, especially the first year programs, are going to absolutely love it.
All right, it is, and so let's dive into Swing in the Spring, Nevada. Let's get Alec back on.
I'm back. Couldn't get rid of me.
No, didn't change your shirt though.
No, next time.
Oh, I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him. It's a shame he had to go move to Mars, and we get to talk to him on delay. Alec, talk to us about what's going out there in Nevada.
Yeah, so we registration is closed. We officially have 14 teams signed up right now.
Great.
That's what we'll be moving forward with. There's 3 more than we had last year, so we are growing a little bit here. Looking to get the start schedule here. Anytime now, probably have it out shortly after the year. Teams right now are looking for hotels. We're working with 365 Sports Travel teams with that group. They've been a great help. So if you're watching this and you haven't booked yet, please go to the 365 guys are great. Just as much as they can. But yeah, that's really all we got going on for this right now.
Good job, Alec. Sounds like a good crop of teams, and it's growing, so that's what we like to see.
What's it going to take to get that to the next level? Like a second week, or do we need to get more fields? What do we need?
More fields, another week. More fields for sure. With these 14 teams, we have 2 fields. The weekend is pretty backloaded, where a lot of the teams want games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So those days are going to be very big. So it's going to be tough. We should be able to fit everything in. So yeah, more fields definitely make it easier to get
All right. Well, let Santa know you're wishing for more fields for next year. Because you've been a good boy. I know you have. All right, Bubby. Alec. Great job out there. We appreciate it. Happy holidays to you. All right. I think that's it for our show for this month. All right. We appreciate you tuning into this episode of Sweet 301. We wish you and your family and your teammates and your friends the safe and happy holidays, and we'll see you in the new year. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes. Next episode is going to be January 17th at 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook Live. Join us to catch up on everything that's happening around Cole Club Sports.
And don't forget, it's a game.
Have fun.